Good morning everyone, welcome to our small footprint. My name is Nyssa, and if you're new here, we are a family of 8 who live off-grid in Australia. Today is more kitchen prep and sorting out. So we've got a few things that I'd like to get done today. We'll see how we go. I want to make a bunch of scrolls up with the stewed apples, and my gelatin arrived in the mail yesterday, so I want to juice some more oranges and make some orange honey gummy type things. I think the kids will really enjoy those now that I've got enough gelatin to do that. So we're going to do that, and a few other things. Maybe we've got a few apples that still don't fit in the fridge that need using, and still some more oranges and limes to get through. So depending on how many I get through today as well, we'll just see how we go. But I'm going to start off by making my dough for the scrolls. All right, we're going to go for a super simple dough. We're going to do it slightly enriched by using some coconut cream. Now, you're supposed to use warm milk, but it's really warm today, and this is straight off the shelf. We're using a tin of coconut cream, so we're classing that as, we're going to add water to that and class that as milk. So I'm going to make a double batch up. So we want 800 grams of water / milk. So we want about 800 grams of liquid. We're going to put about 10 grams of yeast. Nice warm day, as I said. We're going to put a little bit of salt. We're going to put just a little bit of sugar. Alrighty, so we just want, say, 20 grams of sugar, not too much, just enough to help with that yeast to take off. And then we're going to add, I forgot that we were doubling all of this too. I've just added yeast and salt and that for a single batch, but the milk for double, because that's what I was not thinking. Anyway, I'll just add a little bit extra yeast and a little bit extra sugar, a little bit extra salt, and I may just have to adjust the flour as needed, because we're going to put 1200 grams of flour in there now. So we got 1200 grams of flour. I'm going to start kneading it, and if I need to add a little bit of extra or anything, then I will. That's the beauty of being someone fairly good with judging doughs. Of course, this isn't plugged in. I need to plug that in. The KitchenAid will be over there somewhere. All right, and we'll knead that up. Now, this is a fairly stiff dough, which is good for when you're rolling it out and things like that. But it's probably ended up a little stiffer than I'd normally do, but it's fine. I think I'm going to make a second batch because I was thinking about something that I wanted to try for the kids. Let me find a scraper. Was like pizza pocket type things, and this dough would probably work for that because it's a slightly enriched bready pizzery dough. Though I could make just a batch of my pizza dough actually for those. Maybe that would work, though the little bit of sweet is what you expect in things like pizza pockets, but they've never had pizza pockets, so they wouldn't know what to expect, would they? Overthinking it just a touch there. I also did, actually, the other thing I was going to try was the Greek yogurt dough for those pizza pockets. So apparently the Greek yogurt mixed with self-raising flour makes a dough that you can use to make all sorts of things. I've never made it because I make yeasted dough, so it just wasn't a thing for me. But it's a higher protein dough because it's mixed with the Greek yogurt. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just make a second batch of this for today, and that way it can all go in the same container and we can give it a go, and I'll try one of the other doughs another day. I think that sounds good. I think I'm just, complicating my own matters. So I'm going to make just an exact same. I did grab an extra tin as well. So I think I'm going to make an exact same batch. I know this is a slightly sweet dough and I'm talking about putting savoury in it, but honestly, if you buy a savoury dough from a bakery or like the bread top and things like that, they're all slightly sweet as well. So, and the milk makes for a really soft dough. So I'm talking myself into it here, but basically I just don't want to go to the effort of 2 different containers and 2 different dough bases and all that. So I'm just going to make exactly the same batch again. So I'll do that, and I'll bring you back when I start on the next step or the next task or whatever. You don't need to see me make it all again. I think if I'm going to do these pizza pockets, I want some sort of a cheese in there, and every recipe you look up always has like store-bought vegan cheese, and we don't buy store-bought vegan cheese. But what I might do is mix up a batch of that almost solid cashew cheese and use some of that in there, because it doesn't take very long to set up, and it doesn't need to be solid for me to put a spoonful in and spread it with the toppings inside the little pizza pockets. So I think that's what I'll do. So I'm going to get some cashews out, I'm going to boil them, put them in boiling water, and then mix everything in. So I'll get that started and then I'll bring it back. All right, so I've got, I'm going to quadruple this recipe, so we need the gelatin in. We need 8 tablespoons of gelatin into this 6 cups of water that we're going to bloom. 3, 4, 7, one more.
Can I mix it?
Yep. There you go, whisk it up. We've got visitors today and the dogs keep going off, so I've had to stop filming most of the time, but this is the cashew cheese all mixed up. I'm putting it in containers to set, so I'll have to redo this at some point for video, but yeah, today is going to be a bit, yeah, you can hear the dogs going off again because we've got visitors and the dogs hate visitors. So that's the cheese anyway. Because I've taken so long with visitors and everything else, my dough is like well and truly ready. So I'm going to scoop some of this out and we will do some apple scrolls to start with. I should turn the oven on to preheat. And we will see how we go with this quantity. See if we can stretch it out to a full, like this whole rectangle, because it was a fair bit of dough. It shouldn't need.
Hi.
Hi. All right, so today and filming and stuff has been a bit of a write-off. I've had visitors, as I said, I'm sure I've managed to say at some point, and the dogs hate visitors. We just don't get them enough. So they bark every time they see a car, every time anyone's around, anything like that. Plus I've had to host a little bit as well, and it's all just been, you know, it is what it is. It's what we keep on saying, isn't it? So anything that I did film, I may need to look at and do some voiceovers for or something like that. Now, I've got the apple scrolls in the oven, but the other thing that I was going to make was some pita pockets was the idea. Now, I haven't made these before, so this is a first for me. but the idea was to make some pizza pockets. I think I said pita then before, I mean pizza pockets. So we've got this nice, easy to handle dough. I'm going to use a little bit of oil on my hand just to help a little bit here. But it's nice, easy to handle dough. There's a little bit of cinnamon left on my bench, but it's not going to hurt anything. Size-wise, let's have a look at... That's 150 grams. That's a lot of dough for one, because the kids will definitely want more than one. So that's what I always think about when I'm making things. It's not about necessarily the size, but the fact that my kids, no matter how big they are, they're going to want more than one. It's just the way my children work, and I'm sure most children work. So what the plan is to turn these into little pizza pocket like things that you used to get as a kid from the grocery, like the frozen section. Now, I made the cashew cheese. This hasn't set completely because it hasn't had as much time in the fridge as I'd like, because as I said, my day has been a little mixed up. So I'm putting a scoop of that in there. Then the plan was to use some pizza sauce. So I'm just going to put a scoop of pizza sauce. I really don't know how much topping to put in here, but the thing is that we could always have something that they can dip it in afterwards as well. And then I got this ham on clearance, this leg ham. So then I'm going to put, say, 2 pieces of this ham, and then we're going to take all the dough in and do the normal like twist on the bottom, a little bit of a, so basically it's a stuffed bun, stuffed pizza bun. That's the plan. Let's see how this works. I'm wondering if I should put ham, then the cheese and tomato, and then ham again with those 2 slices, rather than having the sauces in the top, just in case we have some explosion. I don't know. So I'm going to get a tray. And line it with baking paper, and then we're going to put these rolls on there. They're not going to need much in the way of any more proofing because this dough is already well and truly. So let's give this another go. We want about 100 grams of dough. That seemed to be a good sort of an amount. And this dough is lovely and handleable. So then we're going to take it out into a circle. We're going to make the edges thinner than the middle because they're the bits that are going to overlap. So you want the edges to be thinner than the middle. Let's try putting a piece there, some sauce there, some cheese there. Just don't know how much of all this there should be. And then the other piece of ham over the top so that it's sort of sandwiched in those 2, and then bring the sides in. I think that might make it a bit easier to work with. So then we just bring all the edges in, those slightly thinner than the top edges, and then just shape it like that. See, we've got a bit of potential leakage there. So, and the dough does not stick to itself if it's wet. So I'd say that one's going to explode, but we will see. We're going to put them down, and I'm just going to keep on going, and this will be a test run of these. So it'll work or it won't, and the kids will eat it anyway, because they're my kids, and that is one of the wonderful things about my children. They are pretty happy to eat anything I make. So, all right, I've got a tray done of them here. I've got an egg wash, just egg with a bit of water mixed up there just to give them top so that it colors nicely on the top. And I've just pulled the apple ones out, so I'm just going to show you those, and I'm basically just going to stick these straight in, but I still do have some more dough, so I'm going to do another tray up, may as well, and I'm positive the kids will like these, even if I then have to like heat up some bolognese or something, so they've got something to sort of like dip it in if it's a little bit dry on the inside with that amount of topping. But anyway, there's a tray of them going in. We're guessing on timing and everything here too. So, and then this is what the apple looks like. I think I'm going to do a drizzle over them. I might do a little bit of like a lemon juice, icing drizzle to over the top, because I think that'll just be really nice. And yeah, get that sorted. I've got some icing sugar there, so really easy. Icing sugar, a tiny bit of coconut cream and a bit of lemon juice is all I'm going to do, and then just drizzle it over the top. Maybe mix a little bit of ghee in there for a bit of flavour. Too much going on again as is. I've got this stuff to get done, but I wanted to put this drizzle over while it's warm still. So all I'm going to do is add a little bit of ghee to this icing sugar. Oops, that was probably far too much, and I'll probably have to add more icing sugar. Just wait for a minute. And a touch lemon juice. And then we're going to mix that up. Try not to spill it.
Definitely too far too much.
Yeah, probably going to need a bigger bowl and about the same amount again of icing sugar. Apollo's going to take that over while I get more of this dough done. Yeah, that ghee poured far too fast. So while he's doing that, I'm just going to keep going with the dough. So what I ended up doing is measuring out the 100 grams, approximately 100 grams, flattening it out into the circle, trying to get those edges nice and thin. Placing a piece of ham down, and then a spoonful of the sauce and some of the cheese. That is,
Thick, right?
it doesn't have to be too thick because we're just going to drizzle it over the cakes.
Like this?
Yeah, you need to make sure all those lumps are out though.
Yeah.
And then add the other piece of ham and then just bring it all in. That's what I've been doing and found that it worked.
Making little ham.
Yeah, like pizza pockets.
Without pizza.
Well, it's got pizza sauce, ham, cheese. So yeah, so that's what I worked. So I'll
Make some homemade cheese.
bring you back again. I did make some home. So I just did this whole thing and didn't record it, didn't turn it on. Icing, I managed to get some nice silky lemon cream cheese-esque style dairy-free icing, or ghee-based icing. It's not strictly dairy-free. I've poured it all over generously. I think that these will just need that little bit of moisture because the apples won't, the way they were cooked and the way I did it, just not a huge amount of liquid in there. So I iced them. Anyway, I don't know what else I said. That's done. I'm still trying to get the last of these pizza pockets done. All right, first batch out. Yes, the cheese has weeped a little bit, and most of that's going to be because it was already pretty soft. I think it's still going to be tasty, and they can always put a bit of extra cheese on it because that's what we have, and we were still figuring this out. So we're going to have a look inside one. So let's pick one from the middle here and see if all the dough is cooked. It's very hot. Very hot. Oh, super hot. But I want to see. Oh, look at that. I'm dragging the filling. Ow, like really hot. So all the dough looks to be cooked through. We've got the ham and the tomato, but most of the cheese has fallen out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them to the kids. They can grab one of the cheese containers out and put a little bit of extra cheese in them. Maybe I need to, well, the cheese wasn't set properly, but maybe I need to freeze parts of that cheese. Maybe I freeze the ham, tomato, cheese, ham like that, and then I build the dough around them. I don't know. I didn't even look up pizza pockets. There's probably like all these tips online about how to make them. I just was playing. Anyway, they look pretty cool. The kids will eat them regardless because, as I said, my kids are pretty tolerant of my fails as well as my successes. And yeah, so that was the pizza pockets done. And I don't know what else I get to today, but at least that was done. We're actually cutting through the second one, just a sec. We're actually cutting through the second one, and the cheese is actually coming out of the out of it as we're cutting it. Of course, it is super hot, but there is cheese left in that one. So yeah, I think maybe freezing the cheese before I put them in the oven would work for this gelatin-based cheese, but they did work. Apple scrolls are perfect, soft. They're nice and moist. Lots of cinnamon on the bottom. These are just great. So this is when I wish I was eating carbs. Now, anyone who's been around for the previous sets of these videos and the current set knows that I'm struggling a little with my intros and outros this month because this shopping sort of food prep, planning, preservation sort of videos, because normally I do it in a voiceover, so it's not important and I don't have to like structure the days. But because I'm doing it speaking wise, I'm finding that I've gone to edit and I've had to finish before I thought I was going to finish, and there was no intro and things like that. So now I'm probably going to overdo it and just remove it as necessary. But I believe that this will be the start of the next video in the sequence. It's late today. It's already 4:10. I haven't done much today. Well, I have, but not things to share. I've done a whole lot of D&D converting work, some admin work. I had a video out this morning that I answered a whole lot of questions, that sort of thing. So, but I am going to roast some chicken thighs. This is the first time I've done it like this. I have smoked it before, but I don't want to run the smoker at the moment because I'm only want to do 2 trays of chicken thighs, and the idea is that we still have all those cucumbers to use, and the kids really like sushi, rice paper rolls, that sort of thing, and the idea was to do some chicken up so that they can have that, but I don't want to sit here and fry it all off at the moment. It's really hot, it's 36 degrees and it's just a crappy day. So what I'm going to try and do is marinate them and put it in baking trays and bake it and see how we like it like that. Give it a go. I haven't done skin off thighs like that before, but we're going to give it a go. So I thought I'd bring you along while I do that. All right, so I'm going to go really simple. The kitchen's a bit of a mess. The kids have been out here. So I'm just going to get this. I just want to get it in the oven because it's already late in the day. So I'm just going to go through and quickly run my hands over it for any big pieces of bone. Any little bits we'll just find when we eat it. And I'm going to stick it all in my big stainless steel bowl that I've got here. There is a whole lot of leftover green curry from last night, lots of vegetables and chicken in some green curry sauce. So Darryl and I will probably just have that for dinner tonight. So I might make them up some sushi rice and they can make sushi out of all this. Some cucumbers and the chicken and the rice and carrots, and I'll get them out here to help me shred stuff up. So first up, all I'm doing is just getting all the chicken. So I've got 2 containers here, so I've got about 4 kilos that I'm going to do up because this will be quite a few days of potential cold meat. Kids really liked the pizza pockets from yesterday. That's what they heated up to eat for lunch today. They just threw them all on a tray in the oven and had them, and leftover apple scrolls as well. I have some plans tomorrow to make some more apple scrolls because I want to give some to my neighbour. But also I haven't finished all the oranges and it's really warm and they really need to be done. So I really want to make that orange gummies for the kids. So I need to get that sorted. So tomorrow will be a bit of a busier day. Darryl's going to do a few runs for water. So today I spent a lot of time on the computer, but tomorrow I'm going to spend a lot of time in the kitchen, hopefully. So just taking off these big chunks of bone. And happens a lot in these thighs, I find, in these packets, is there's just this one spot that seems to always have gristly bone pieces left. Right at the top of the thigh, must be where it joins the leg or something, that the machines just don't quite get it all off. They break it instead of getting it all off. So, and I'm rambling because I can't turn the camera on with my hands like this. I can't turn the camera off, sorry. So anyway, I'm going to get all this chicken in. All right. Oh, I just broke a bit off, but there's a cat at my feet, so I'm going to give her that little bit. All right, so that's done. So now I'm going to marinate it. I'm going to wash my hands. And we are going to go super simple. We are going to go a whole lot of garlic. Probably just the end of this container. Like that. We're going to go some of the homemade Worcestershire, which smells amazing. I'm even going to take the dripper off it. So this will be my acid vinegar option. And then I'm going to use some mustard. And I've got this gorgeous Dijon mustard that I buy from Costco. We've got 4 kilos, so I might do 4 tablespoons about. And then I'm going to put a bit of salt. Not too much, but a bit of salt and a bit of pepper. And then I will probably add a little bit of raw sugar and molasses to give it a little bit of a brown sugar-esque flavour. Putting sugar with the marinades, I say this all the time when I do the pork, but putting sugar with your marinades, it helps keep the meat moist because it creates liquid. Where is my sugar jar? Here we go. And I'll just put about a 1/4 cup over that whole 4 kilos. Alrighty, now I would normally put some paprika in there. My paprika jar is empty. I need to refill it, and it's probably not really needed here with those mustard and the Worcestershire sauce. So let's get this all mixed up. We might need to add some olive oil to it as well, since we're going to be roasting it rather than frying it. So I'm not going to be adding any fat to the pans. So let's get this all blended first. That mustard and that garlic spread through it all, and then as we put it on the trays, we'll make sure to collect up all those bits as well. I should have moved everything before I did this. I'm just going to wash my hands again. It will be so nice when my sink is just here. It'll be just sort of at the end of my bench here. Once we get the kitchen rearranged, that will be lovely. Make things so much easier for me. All right, I'm going to just drizzle a tiny bit of olive oil on this as well. And then we're going to load our trays. So I just have baking trays. I know my spacing here is bad. As I said, it's already 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm just... So baking trays, I've got 2 of these, and I forgot to turn the oven on when I said I would. So let me just turn that on to preheat. All right, oven's on preheating, and now we've got these trays. So all I want to do is place them on the trays, getting lots of this marinade as well. Let's see how many trays are. I thought I might be able to get away with 2 trays, but I might need more than that. Alright, get this one out of the way. That one's in the oven. One of the beauties of gas ovens is they heat up nice and quickly. I'm going to line my second tray and do the same thing. Top. So that's what they look like, trays. I'm going to readjust the other one because I got one piece of chicken left in the oven. We're going to look at only probably 25 minutes, and then I'll check the internal temperature. It shouldn't take too long at all. They're only small pieces of meat, gas oven, about 175, 180, and that's the plan. So I'll bring you back once they're done. All right, so this looks pretty good. Obviously it's not going to have like the crispy exterior that it does when I fry it on a fry pan, but the internal temperature is up over the 76 Celsius or 165 Fahrenheit for chicken, and it's lovely and juicy, plenty of liquid, which I probably slice up, put that liquid in the bowl. So I'll slice up the chicken and pour the chicken and the liquid in a bowl, which keeps it nice and moist, and it'll absorb it while it's in the fridge potentially as well. So that's all I'm going to do is I'm going to slice this up. I'll put some, it's 5:15, so I'll put some sushi rice on for the kids, and then they can just grab some cucumbers out and have chicken, cucumber, whatever they want. Sushi, because they want sushi. And there's carrots, and I can't think what else off the top of my head, but that's, it's been a long day. But the chicken worked, so I just wanted to share that seemed to work quite well, so less hands-on. So this is all I do, simple sushi. I make 1 roll each for the kids, and they then make sandwiches or more rolls for themselves. So
And I sprayed myself.
I just make a bunch and then let them have it how they want.